Okay, today we are playing a game on Hanamura. We are in the Platinum SR range, and we will be playing Symmetra the entire way through. And our current team composition is Reinhardt, Zarya, Genji, Symmetra, Doomfist, and Mercy. So, it's one of the more repulsive team comps ever seen by man. It's definitely one for the history books. Don't think you have to put too much work into that one to figure out a better team comp. So, in the accompanying email it also says, I recently started playing Symmetra, and I've been loving every second of it. I usually think of my role in the team as a pressure applier. I don't necessarily need to get kills or great damage. I just need to make a lot of pressure and distraction. Also, Symmetra is good at killing squishy but mobile targets like Lucia because of the auto-lock, and that is also one of my objectives. Am I thinking correctly, or is there a better way to play her? I mean, that's more or less it. It's not quite the way I'd put it, but basically, because Symmetra is basically a defense hero. Right, she's in the support tree, but we all know better. So, the thing with all the defense heroes is they're about zone denial and zone control, and Symmetra is basically the same, so it's all just like setting up in an area and making that area as hostile as possible for the enemy team, and just making it really difficult for people to come in. She's also pretty good at zoning because, like, just throwing out balls everywhere is extremely annoying, and then her shield is very annoying. And she's the sort of hero that demands the team's attention because if you ignore the Symmetra kills your entire team. So that's more or less it, but it's not quite the way I would have described it. But yeah, essentially. So let's start the game. So we're attacking right now. And it's gonna be an issue on Hanamura specifically, because when you are attacking a Symmetra, the idea is that you sort of want to try and create a forward base, and the way you do that is that you approach the choke point or wherever you're trying to push through, and then you set up a bunch of turrets around the outer side of it so that the enemy team, they can't come in to fight you, basically, because if they do, they get killed by the turrets, and then hopefully, because you're completely safe in this area, they can advance into you, sort of just like slowly chip away at them, and eventually you get through. It requires a fairly patient style of play, not unlike attacking as Orisa, I suppose, which also requires a more patient method of approach. The thing is with Hanamura, though, is the enemy team has no interest in coming out into the streets anyway, and turrets that are hanging out on the side of these gates are kind of just easy to break from inside the gate, so it's a bit of an issue, like, the way you attack with Symmetra is a bit of an issue for Hanamura, because the enemy team has no interest of coming out here, anyway. So, what we basically want to be doing is just sending as many balls through as possible, and we have already killed their, Junkrat, and immediately we've been uppercutted up here, and, almost killed him again, actually, because the beam took a while to break off of him, and we've gotten away with it all. Here, we will immediately overreach and try to get the Mercy. We aren't allowed to get the Mercy if she's standing right next to Reinhardt, because Reinhardt will kill a Symmetra very quickly. Because, much like Symmetra, Reinhardt doesn't really have to aim, so we do now have our ultimate as well. Teleporter, not terribly likely to be helpful attacking on this map, because there's not really anywhere. The whole thing with a teleporter on attack is that you put it, like, behind the enemy team, essentially. Or if the attacker's spawn is, like, really far away, then just, like, putting it closer to the front line. But there's not, the spawn's right there, and we aren't realistically going to get to put the teleporter behind them, so the shield generator is probably going to be better for this game. Most of our team is dead right now. We should just, like, put the shield generator down somewhere, or the teleporter if we decide that we want to do that, because all of this damage is fantastic and all, but it's not really doing anything because our team isn't here to benefit from it, and we have our ultimate already, so we're not really accomplishing anything, because we haven't been, the pressure we've been applying with our orbs has not been amounting, and damage we've been doing with our orbs has not amounted to anything, because our team hasn't been here, and we've gained nothing from it because we already have our ultimate. So we just sort of, like, made it easier for them to pick us off, and not really anything came of it. We do sit on this ultimate for a really long time. I would have just put the shield generator down, because I don't see the teleporter as realistically being helpful on this map anytime soon. Because it's not realistic we're going to get it behind him. So there goes Doomfist back behind us. We're just going to sort of try and push in the doorway anyway. Here's Reinhardt. Reinhardt is dead now because he's in the middle of the enemy team. Here comes Mercy. Oh, she res the Reinhardt, but she then does die in recompense. However, our Mercy dies to Meteor die? Meteor punch? Meteor something. Shows you how much I see Doomfist, and Tac Visor also happened. So, we ended up getting killed anyway, but they did use 2 ultimates to make it happen, so there's that. Maybe if we had the shield generator HP, that might have done something. We have also not really been putting turrets anywhere, until this point, and the point is still sort of to, like, build a forward base in front of things, so, like, we should be putting our turrets down around the choke point, around the window and such, just so if they do come out, like so, they are coming into a more hostile area because we have our forward base set up with the turrets. We have not been doing this, and we still have not used our ultimate, which we have had this entire time. We've had this ultimate for like 2.5 minutes at this point, and we haven't used it. Like, should have put it somewhere. Like, it's been doing nothing. 75 HP is a lot of HP, as it turns out. Especially on heroes like Genji, who are, their whole thing is that they're hard to kill anyway, so then if they have just 75% more HP, it's harder to kill them. So, one of the most stupid things I've ever seen in this video game happens in the near future. Because we, the attacking team, are about to huddle in this shed for like 20 minutes, defending the shield generator as they approach us. I don't support this action in general, where you put like all of your turrets around the thing that you've constructed, because we still want to just like go and make a forward base somewhere, and like this map's easier to make this part of the map rather is easy to make it happen, because on the doorway up here, if we're trying to push him through it, we can just put all our turrets around the outside of the doorway and slowly move in. Then we get up to like in front of the staircase, and we repeat the thing in front of the staircase, and we slowly push in. Can't do that if all our turrets are out here doing this. And it's usually pretty hard for the defending team to actually come out and realistically break your turret without just, like, giving up too much control of the objective, or your ultimate, without giving up too much control of the objective. And now we are going to huddle in this room for a while. Here comes Doomfist. Doomfist punches us. Try not to stand right next to Doomfist when he's charging up, because that makes it easier to punch you, because the hitbox is actually very small, so if he actually has to travel somewhere, it's easier to dodge it. If you're right in his face, as long as he's got his cursor over you, you're gonna get hit. Also, he has, like, effectively a shotgun in his hand, so being point blank to him is not a great idea. We are Symmetra, so we're gonna be close to him, but we don't need to be, like, touching the dude. So, he's dead now. No, he's not. There, right, he does that. And, he decides that he's going to jump in there, right on top of our ult, and in the end it's actually Genji that breaks it anyway, isn't that ironic? Doomfist, dead now, all over. Genji, dash back in. Doomfist is still dead, so we just... This is also, like, Symmetra's shield is, like, weirdly strong. Well, not weirdly strong, surprisingly strong, because, like, it's pretty tanky, and just, like, someone walking at, like, the enemy team walking at you behind a Symmetra shield is actually quite annoying. I actually think Symmetra is better at attacking than most people give her credit for, because of the shield. The ultimate is pretty good, depending on the situation you're in. And just, like, if they got, like, a static defense, just shooting the balls into the enemy team is actually quite strong. And then, like, the attacking team just going in behind the shield. Very annoying. So, I think Attack Symmetra is better than people give it credit for. Because, like, yeah, she's still, like, she's a defense hero, but she's sort of the most dynamic of the defense heroes. Like, a Bastion and a Torbjorn are not at all dynamic. They are as static as it gets. Symmetra can at least reposition faster, right? You can just come up and just, like, put your turrets down really quickly. And she's also just extremely threatening. Like, a Torbjorn running around next to you, like, yeah, you don't want it, but, like, a Symmetra running around next to you kills you flatly in a couple of seconds, so... Attack Symmetra, not as bad as people say it is. So, our shield is pretty important, and we just kind of like chuck it out there for not really any reason. It has a very long cooldown, and the shield is actually quite strong, so we kind of want to actually use it to block something in most cases, rather than not really throwing it at anything in particular. We also should be building these turrets over here quicker. Like, okay, yeah, you put a few turrets up ahead, and, like, you might as well. They're gonna get you some ult charge. But, like, as they're breaking, you should be putting the other turrets up back here, so that, you know, you're actually ready when people arrive. And the whole point of the turrets is that they're really fucking annoying. And so you want to put them in, like, awkward to reach locations, which is basically as high as possible. Because they're easy to break, but you want it to be as distracting as possible. And so, like, what a lot of Symmetra players do is they put stuff, like, really low to the ground and they hide it in a shrub, like, haha, they'll never see it coming. Yeah, except for the fact it's got a giant laser coming out of it. Like, just looking down at the ground is not exactly a very harsh movement. But if they're getting lasered from, like, back up here, they have to go, and look all the way back up at it, which takes longer. So it is it's a more awkward line of sight for them. Just like all along, roughly, like, eye level is not as good as, like, up and out of the way. Because it takes them longer to break it, and it's a more awkward line of sight for them to make, basically. We also don't have, like, we've got turrets ticking right now, but we're out here microwaving people, so you know how it is. People die quite quickly, Baby D.Va comes out and basically instantly dies. So, like, them being at this level, like, that one's gonna get broken without them even coming through the gate, and it's just not a very it's not a very hard place for them to look at, because it's just, like, right there. If I'm walking in and it's right there, alright, if I gotta go, ugh, that's annoying. And that's the whole point of Symmetra, be annoying. So we got our ult now. It's taken us a little while to build up our ultimate. You can usually get it faster than that if you're just, like, throwing orbs out constantly and hitting people reliably with them. But we've gotten it within a minute still, so, you know, it's up before we died, and that's the important thing. Playing Symmetra and you die before you get your ultimate down, that's not okay, honestly. So they now have a Winston, which is, of course, annoying. We again throw our shield out at essentially nothing, because it's just Winston bouncing around in front of us, and that shield hits the wall, does nothing, that's still a pretty long cooldown, and then we overextend by, like, a couple of feet, and that gets us killed because they have a McCree. Sometimes the line between positioning fine and positioning too aggressively is, like, a step or two, for that reason. So now we're coming at the McCree, he misses the flashbang, so he's basically dead. And, as you might have noticed from the timeline on this video, yeah, they don't capture this first checkpoint, which is kind of sad. Because, like, Torbjorn is currently killing a lot of people. We're here. They just don't really know how to deal with this situation. What they should have just done was pick Pharah. Right? Like, what do we do if they pick Pharah? What do we do about it? We get fucked. We hope Torbjorn is a god, or we get fucked, basically. So, when there's nothing else to do, this is what we do as Symmetra. We sit and we throw orbs out at the enemy team, and we just be annoying. Here comes D.Va, here comes the rest of the team. Winston's just walking himself in. I would have gone after the D.Va just because D.Va's more out of position, because she's in here by herself. Whereas these people are, like, all huddled up together, so if they play if we assume the enemy team is going to play correctly, which we should, until shown otherwise, if these people just all turn to you right now, they kill you. Because they don't have to put that much effort into it. But they don't do that. And then Pharah also helps us by using Barrage. I would have gone after the D.Va, just because she was more out of position than everyone else, because everyone else was, like, roughly together. So now we are going to run at this Junkrat, and he misses basically everything. So it's not on the cards for him. Here's Reaper. We're going to run after the Reaper. We don't even actually... Oh, no, we got the Reaper in the end. Okay, we got the last hit, and that's the important thing. So I don't really like putting turrets in here particularly either, just because I find when the attacking team actually makes progress through the choke point on Hanamura, they never come in here. It's always that they throw all their shit out here and it kills a bunch of people, and then they just run straight to the point. Like, I find turrets in here do almost nothing, actually, except maybe make life difficult for a flanker. But, like, whatever, they're just gonna go past it anyway, right? Like, it's not gonna actually be an issue for them unless, like, you car wash them, but that's not exactly a consistent strategy. So it's not great to put it, like, on the door either, on, like, because that's easy to break without actually coming through the choke point. And that sort of defeats the point of the turrets, really. So now we just run straight at them, and we get killed by the tire anyway, so we're fucked. But, like, we die in a really inconvenient place for Mercy, because she has to come out of the choke point to try and heal us, right? Revive us, so we make it more difficult for her, and now we're just gonna bully this dude, and he's dead now, and they just don't know what to do. They could have just picked Farah. But, you know. I don't know why people are so afraid to pick Farah. Farah is really easy to play, and she's quite strong. So, Graviton happening out here. We start building up our orb to chuck it into there. It doesn't actually get in there to do anything before they've, like, broken out of the Graviton. And we're going to try and run this dude down. I wouldn't really be concerned about him, because it's just kind of like he's not even full HP, because he Wraith forms out of this. Like, I'd be more concerned with just the majority of the team rather than the Reaper. And Reaper dies anyway, so it's kind of hindsight's 20/20, but I'd be more concerned with this area, just because, like, this is where the entire enemy team is, basically. But it doesn't matter. We win the game. They just didn't know what to do. They, like, if Reaper was playing Farah, they probably win, actually, because Reaper not gonna get very much done against this team. Farah would be super annoying for this team. Because look here, we got Torbjorn getting the play of the game. That was a pretty good shot, actually. It was better than most Torbjorn play of the game, because he actually, like, shot someone and they died, rather than just, like, the turret killing everyone and him not even any... Yo. Okay, I was like, how did this one dude get two cards for Mercy? I don't think I've ever seen that happen. I don't think I've ever seen the same hero get 2 cards before. How about that? So, the thing that stands out the most in this game is we don't really use our turrets that well, basically, I'd say. Like, we don't put them in, like, the most inconvenient locations for the attacking team possible. When we're attacking, we basically don't use them at all, and part of it's, like, the circumstance we were put into for, like, the second checkpoint, but, like, we don't really make very good use of our turrets on attack at all. On defense, they're just kind of, like, in places that are easy to break or not that inconvenient for the enemy team, you know, that kind of thing. And the other thing is, like, just use the ult dog. Like, we sat on that ultimate for so long during the first round. Like, just put it somewhere. Like, do something with it. Don't just sit on your ultimate for, like, 3 minutes because, God, like, heroes are kind of all based around their ultimates at the end of the day. Like, you gotta use it, you know? So, shocking revelation. Using your ultimate is better than not using your ultimate. Whoa, fuck, I feel my SR gaining right now. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful.